Hey everybody, this is Dr. Daniel Davila. I want to take a moment to shoot this video today to share some thoughts I had that was inspired by a situation my family and I were going through over the course of the last week. I'm going to dig into a little bit more about what that situation was here in just a moment. And this situation caused me to think again about a subject that I bring up frequently with my patients, and it's something that I think is always there in the public subconscious, but I'm making this video and I have these discussions with my patients to try to bring it more to the forefront of the public conscious because, simply speaking, we need it. Something needs to change regarding this particular issue, and I'm hoping that this helps to spark that conversation for some of you and hopefully get some of you to take action to change things for the better, not only in your life, but for your family and for society as a whole. So, the situation that happened led me to ask myself the question, what is your most valuable asset? If you need to, I want you to go ahead and take out a piece of paper, take out a pencil, and really think about this and jot this down for yourself. What is your most valuable asset? Now, when I ask people this question, I get a variety of different answers. Depending on who you are, your background, your hopes and desires. Some people will say, my family. Family is number one. It's the most important thing for me. Other people will say, my career, my ability to get ahead, gain social status, pay my bills, and provide for my family on a financial level. Other people, I have a lot of friends who are athletes, competitive athletes, who will say, well, my training, my physical health, my nutrition, that's most important. And still others, it's just happiness. People just want to achieve happiness and have their desires fulfilled in life. Now, what I'm going to say in this video might resonate with some of you right away. And for others, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to what you believe and what your values are. And the reason I'm doing this again is just because of the fact that I really believe if you take it to heart and you let it influence your thoughts and your actions, it's just going to help improve the quality of your life tremendously. So when I ask that question, what is your most valuable asset? I think there's something that overlays all those other things, whether it's your family, your finances, your physical abilities, your happiness, and that is plainly and simply your health. It's your overall health and well-being. And so if you think about it, the reason that health is most valuable is because of the fact that it influences every other aspect of our lives. Now, the situation that I went through last week with me and my family was that my daughter was diagnosed with hand, foot, and mouth disease. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's a relatively benign issue. But the fact of the matter is, this highly contagious viral illness caused my daughter to miss a week of daycare, for which I had to take effectively a week off from work. I had to be at home taking care of her, making sure she was getting everything she needed. Thankfully, like I said, it only lasted a week. Everything's back to normal at this point. The only thing I can say about that is chiropractic adjustments, vitamin D, and breast milk. Those are amazing things. But as I said, her temporary illness put a stop to the way me and my family conduct ourselves throughout the week on a normal basis. And you can think about that in your own life. If you know somebody in your life, if you yourself are afflicted with something like diabetes, heart disease, God forbid, arthritis or cancer, you know full well that your health and the way your body is functioning influences everything else that you have going on, for the better or the worse, depending on what's happening for you. And so if you think about this on a macro scale, looking at some of the statistics, we can see now that 80% of the entire industrial population has been diagnosed with at least one chronic degenerative illness. That's things like diabetes, heart disease, cancer, arthritis. And unfortunately, 55% of the population has been diagnosed with 2 or more chronic degenerative illnesses. We look at how this is affecting us financially. We now know that medical treatments for chronic illness will cost the US $4.3 trillion on an annual basis. As far as how we go about treating these things, by 2013, it was estimated that the spending for medical prescription drugs would surpass $7 billion a day. That's unbelievable. Think about this on a little more of a micro scale, more individual scale. Again, take it back to who in your family do you know that has some kind of a chronic degenerative illness that is impacting their health in a negative way, dragging down the quality of life that they have, dragging down their ability to live the life that they want. Statistically, it's happening. You know somebody with at least one of these issues happening. And then on a daily basis, you hear conversations all the time that, whether people realize it or not, are about their health and how their body is functioning. It's Monday morning. People go into the office and saying, oh, I could use more of a weekend. I need more rest, more relaxation. That's about your health. People saying, I want a little bit of a bender this weekend. I had a cheat weekend. Now my head hurts. I got digestive upset. That's your health. Even something as simple as, people saying, I just don't feel like I am where I want to be in life. I'm not fulfilled in what I'm doing. That, again, is your health. Now, let's think about what it means to be healthy. The Merriam-Webster definition of health is the condition of being sound in body, mind, and spirit. Another way of looking at this is your health is your body's ability to adapt to and overcome any stress you have going on in your life, whether it's physical, chemical, or emotional. Now, the fact of the matter is none of us can escape stress. It's there, and the only thing we can do is deal with it, adapt to it, and rise above it, or at the very least get away from it, because that is what we need to maintain our health over time. Now, the issue that arises a lot of times is if I ask somebody, what does it mean to you to be healthy? How do you know that you're healthy? The majority of people are going to say things like, well, I look good, I feel good, I'm able to do the things I want to do, and I don't feel like I'm being hindered in any kind of way. Now, don't get me wrong, those are all valuable things and they're very important, but think about this. Have you ever heard a story of somebody who looked fit, looked healthy, was able to do amazing things with their physical condition, and then suddenly dropped dead of a heart attack? Do you know anyone who 1 week they felt great, they looked great, the following week they've been given a diagnosis of cancer, and 6 months later, they're no longer with us? Unfortunately, this is a story that I hear all too often in my own family. It's a story that I've heard all too often in patients. It's a story that we hear all the time in our society, whether it's in the news, on social media, or just talking to friends and family. And so when we hear that, we have to realize that something is not working about the way we handle the issue of our health, how we view it, and how we address it. So going back, health, again, it's the condition of being of sound body, mind, and spirit. It's having the ability to adapt to and overcome any stress that we have in our lives. Now, once we know that, we have to ask ourselves the question, okay, well, what do I have control over within myself that influences those things? How my body is healing and adapting, how I'm maintaining the soundness of my body, mind, and spirit. So let me rephrase this another way. What controls your health and function in your body? We can take this back to basic anatomy, and we know from anatomy that the central nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, your spine, they're responsible for controlling, coordinating the function of your body, coordinating your body's healing and repair mechanisms, and making sure that every individual organ and cell down to the last cell of your immune system is doing the job it needs to do of healing and repairing your body so that you can be at your best, healthy, and functional. Now, the next issue that arises is, well, how do you know if your spine and your nervous system are functioning correctly to keep your body functioning at its full potential, keeping you functioning at 100% health for optimal health and well-being long term? Well, the answer is simple. There's only one way to know that. You have to get your spine checked on a regular basis by a corrective chiropractor to take a look and see, are there any blind spots in the way my spine, my nervous system is functioning, the way my brain is communicating with my body, that could be leading me down a path to disease and illness that maybe has not been brought to my attention before by any other healthcare provider. Now, the difference between the corrective chiropractic approach and what traditionally happens in medicine is that we don't just look at the disease, the diagnosis that you've been given, and try to palliate that or try to just deal with that on a symptomatic basis. We really want to take a look and see, is there anything happening with the foundation of your health and your function, meaning your brain, your spinal cord, and your spine, that is impacting the way or negatively affecting the way your body is able to heal and maintain itself over time? And if there is, we want to take proactive action to get that out of there, get that corrected, so that we restore the full communication, the optimal communication between your brain and your body, so that long term you have optimal health, optimal function, the best possibility of not being afflicted by one of these other chronic degenerative illnesses or diseases. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure many of you are listening right now and you're thinking, well, what about nutrition? What about water? What about exercise? What about meditation? And all of those things are tremendously beneficial and tremendously necessary to have a fully functioning and healthy body. I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to argue that. I don't think anybody can. But what I am saying is that in order for your body to get the greatest benefit out of each of those things, the diet, the exercise, the hydration, the meditation, you need to have optimal communication between your brain and your body so that your body is able to integrate each of those things to regenerate your tissues, to bring about full health and function, and to make sure every last cell in your body is doing the job it needs to keep you functional and healthy at all times. So here is what I'm going to propose to you. If you've never had your spine checked before to see if there's anything going wrong with your body's healing functional potential, I'm going to encourage you to make an appointment today or this week with a corrective chiropractor in your area. Now, if you don't know how to find one, what you can do is you can go to www.idealspine.com and look for a provider in your area that does corrective chiropractic work. The reason I'm directing you to that website is because the group that it's affiliated with, Chiropractic BioPhysics, it is the most research-based, evidence-based chiropractic approach to conservative spine and posture correction and optimizing nervous system health. I'm going to ask you to do that for yourself today. And again, I'm going to ask you to really think about in your own life how your health and your body's ability to function impacts everything else you do, from your ability to do your job, to spend time with your family, not just now, not just for today, but for 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. Because I strongly believe that if you don't have in mind where you want to go and how you're going to get there, unfortunately, you're just going to have to deal with whatever comes your way by chance. And that's really the problem, is that right now, so much of our health and our body's function is left up to chance in this society. And I really think it's a disservice to each one of us on an individual basis, on a family basis, on a societal basis, if we don't take proactive control over the most valuable asset that we have, our health and our body's functions. So I want to thank you for watching this video. If you felt it was useful, if you got value out of it, please like, share, tag a friend, let them know about this. If you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like to know more specifically about health and well-being, please let me know. I'll be happy to shoot a video, write a blog post, do something to help create a conversation around that and give you some valuable information. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm Dr. Daniel Davila. Live well.